Transition over. There we go. All right.
I hear you.
Great. And Dwight, if you will, just check to make sure it's not skipping like half of the audio or something. We can use this little bit of test for that.
Sounds good.
Okay, great.
It's got like a 3-second lag, so there's a very long echo, but you know.
Sure. Sounds good. Okay. This is The Dying of the Light, Season 3 of the Starfall Collective. The Starfall Collective is a collaborative storytelling group using the Dungeons & Dragons game system as a vehicle for creating rich and compelling stories in a fictional world that we've been developing together for a while. You can find out more about the collective as well as the stories we're telling at thestarfallcollective.com. We're back with a new episode. Let's find out who's in this episode. I am Sir Robert Burbridge, a father and entrepreneur and spiritual monstrosity of conflicting natures. Along with me are some friends who are playing the characters in this story. Let's find out who they are. We'll start with you, Josh. Say a little bit about yourself, if you like, and a brief description of the character that you're playing.
So my name's Josh. I am a software developer like many of the other people on this stream. And you can find me all over the internet with Jay Suich, and we can chat on the Starfall Collective subreddit as well. I'm playing Gulb tonight, who is an orc on mini missions, dealing with feelings, such deep feelings. And I can't wait to explore them tonight with you all.
And Jared?
I'm Jared. Tonight I'm playing Yoshka, who is in this world something like a gypsy. We call them wayfarers, and he is getting closer and closer to his home grounds.
Good. And Belvari, played by Belvari.
Hi, I'm Belvari, and I'm a druid, and I like to listen and not talk.
You like to listen?
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know.
I'm trying to listen most of the time, and other people are talking over my listening.
All right, and next is Erin Joy, and I think she's either sitting very still or her camera, or she's a little bit frozen for a moment. Why don't we do Matt first, actually?
Hey, I'm Matthew Talamini. I'm a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island. You can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew, TALAMINI.com. I'm playing the shirtless wizard, Diamondback, who takes a lot of inspiration from snakes and is probably also a monster.
And is wearing a shirt at the moment, I believe, in the story.
Technically
wearing a shirt.
Technically a shirt or technically wearing?
Under great duress and with great effort.
And Erin Joy will be back in a few minutes, I am sure, where sure is a colloquial slang that means I know nothing. And she is playing Neno, a character who has just recently joined us. She is a, give me a second here, gnomish. She's a wood gnome, a forest gnome, who has joined the party in the last episode and is here to help these young men not go down a dangerous path in life.
Into the party.
That's right. Oh.
Get it?
No, I didn't hear it.
To weave her way into the party.
There you go. That is exactly it. Also, I think she may be rejoining. If she is, we'll just introduce her and then cut all the rest of it in post.
Only Erin Joy will be introduced.
I'm here.
Yeah! Great. Yeah,
Hey.
and
But I thought I was here before, so really, who knows?
No, you're here. And at just the right moment, too, I was just about to say thanks, Matt and Aaron Joy.
Hi, I'm Aaron Joy, based in Durham. I am playing Neno, a grandmotherly forest gnome who was recently, to her disappointment, expatriated from her community and has clumped up with these guys.
All right. Well, let's get started. Previously on The Dying of the Light, the intrepid party had set out from the town of Miradau on a quest to retrieve a young man who has been kidnapped. Here's what they know about him. He is the grandson of the halfling Urella, the caretaker of... She's a widowed caretaker of the town's gardens. She has great respect among the town, and the town's leader, as it were, Garriott, has sent you off to rescue her grandson. Her grandson is her only living kin that they know of. He's an orphan, aside from Urella. Was out, he's 14-ish years old, was out on a foolhardy adventure to try to find some kind of magical artifact or something that he had heard rumors of. And during that time, Garriott found out that he was kidnapped by orcish slavers and taken to a slave town. Garriott has given directions to the party to know where the slave town is and how to find this young man who has been captured. His name is... Give me 1 second. I have it right here. Ah, there we go. His name is Orden. And Urella the halfling, her son was a halfling, married a human. He is a demi-halfling. And Orden is a demi-halfling, about 4 feet tall. That's how you'll find him. He's the guy who looks like a demi-halfling. Okay. On their journey, they traveled for about a
really
day.
Buff kid. Like the super crazy buff child.
That's right. He's a 14-year-old demi-halfling, so it's hard to tell exactly that kind of thing. But we'll see. Or maybe he's a super buff demi-child.
So, I imagine like a 9-year-old with like a Hercules level physique. But, okay, all right, okay.
So they were traveling. It's about a 2-day trip to the slave town, and they found, thankfully, a very stable, kind of ruined set of cabins. Probably something that decades ago was a village and was now usable for them overnight. In the night, they were accosted by dark forces that sometimes prowl around. These are from a faraway place. And in spite of being terribly wounded, some of them, they were actually able to do away with their evil foes. In the midst of that, Diamondback had a slip of the finger and threw his dagger, accidentally attempting to stab one of them, threw his dagger out the door of the cabin at night. Right as, for those of you who are interested in the mechanics of that, he rolled a 1 for the hit, so I let him roll a D20 to see how severe it was, and he rolled another 1. So he threw it out, and Gulb volunteered to go out with him into the night to find that sentimental dagger of his. And he is now on a late-night sentimental journey.
I love you for sentimental reasons.
So what's going to happen, we're going to pick up our story with them. They will have already harvested components from these 2 creatures that they killed. They are... Diamondback and Gulb are going to go out into the night. Thankfully, it was not an intentional throw to throw really far. It was just a slip of the hand, so they have very good chances of getting it. By their powers combined, they have advantage on a DC 10 roll that Diamondback's going to make. And if he rolls a 10 or better on one of 2 dice, then he will find his dagger. And if not, I will let you spend more time either in the evening or in the morning, either during the night or in the morning, looking for it. But that does come with associated risk, especially at night.
So to do this with advantage, I imagine Gulb has Diamondback by the feet in the breeches, and he's like waving him like a metal finder. And so his eyes are able to take in so much more ground.
Sure. And I do
Yes,
believe
that's definitely how they're doing it.
I do believe that they might have been using the torch of the Ring of the Night Watch torch, which gives whoever's holding it up to 4 people dark vision for the duration of the torch's life, which is an extended time. It's 2 hours instead of 1, although they have plenty of time left on it. Diamondback, why don't you take us into the action with your roll to see if you find your beloved item.
Which skill is it?
It is an investigation. You're out there searching for stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. Let's make it a perception check.
There
DC
we
10 advantage.
Investigation would be better for me, being a wizard. But
well, in fairness, too bad.
no.
Now,
Perception is more. Perception is more right. Diamondback
Gold is with
not
you, so Gold can use his +5 perception if you want.
No, it has to be Diamondback.
No, I think you're giving him advantage. Is what you're doing.
So what we've got is a 6 plus 2 for a total of 8 on Diamondback's perception.
With advantage.
That's with advantage?
With advantage. I rolled a 2 and a 6.
Okay. You scour the dark leaves and brush for about half an hour, and which is how much time is left in this bit since your fight. You don't find what you're looking for, but you are not super, hopefully not super discouraged, because again, you did not throw the knife really far. It just kind of hopefully went right outside the door, and you're welcome to try again in the morning when there's a little bit more light, or you can continue looking now. If you recall, we were in the, I believe, third hour of the first watch. So there is one more of this watch, and some people, I do know, need sleep, and also being out and about at night does draw the attention of some unsavory characters.
Real quick, Belvari, when he sees Diamondback head out into the woods, sneaks over to Nino and whispers, "Don't sleep. There are snakes." And then he goes over to a corner of the house and goes to sleep.
Okay. Neno, do you have any reaction or?
You know what? I don't know what to make of this crew, but I think Neno takes him at his word. She doesn't know what's up. There was just a giant snake around the house a moment ago. She's gonna keep alert for that hour and keep an eye out for snakes.
No. This is his best joke. Don't worry.
Shit.
So Diamondback, while that's happening, you are not having found your dagger. What do you do?
Diamondback is gonna just come back into the hut and say, I can't have thrown it very far. I'll have to look for it in the morning.
I'm sorry, I swung you too fast. It's my fault.
What was?
Please forgive me.
I already did one watch, right? So I need to sleep for the rest of the night if I'm not going to be tired.
You see Gold looks like pale as a sheet. His blood loss is like, he's been doing all this with 1 hit point. He looks like death.
Matt, if you don't get a long rest, you won't be necessarily exhausted tomorrow. If you get half of a long rest, say a watch rest, you'll be fine. But you won't get a long rest.
Right.
Probably before.
Well, what do I need a long rest for? So, yeah.
Before they went out looking, I probably would have mentioned, Yoshka would have mentioned, "Oh, I don't know if I can do the second watch. The lobster got me. Can anybody take my second?"
Sorry, there are 2 watches left?
There are 2 watches left. An hour in this watch
Yeah.
and 2 watches left.
As
So
soon as
Diamondback
Yoshka... Sorry, good.
Diamondback will take that next watch and then hopefully sleep for the remainder of the night.
Neno is happy to take a watch because she's counting on Gold carrying her part of tomorrow's walk, and she'll be able to sleep then. Like a makeshift backpack thing.
Yeah, you hear a boom as Gulb falls down on some dirt in the corner and falls unconscious.
So having already meditated today to change my staff into from the flying snake form into
Constrictor.
giant giant boa constrictor form, he's going to go ahead and do the same thing, where the boa constrictor is going to lie across the door and just hang out.
Okay.
And Diamondback is just going to be sitting cross-legged, organizing his component pouch and peering into the night.
All right, sounds good.
For that watch.
I realize you're still learning the snake tool. Do you think if you sleep, your snake sleeps? Or can he keep watch for us?
The snake stays a snake, and I believe that it would just stay a snake indefinitely until I instructed it to turn back into a staff.
Would it keep watch for us? Could we all sleep?
It probably wouldn't be very good at it. It's not very bright. It's just a snake. But it'll at least be able to tell us, like, it probably smells better than we do, and it is lying across the door. So if something,
You mean has a better sense of smell, not necessarily has bathed more recently.
I mean both.
Okay. Fair enough.
Just when he says it doesn't have it's not very good, the staff just falls over and thunk, right on.
So
on
let's get this. Just to get this.
He's a 16-year-old boy, so he smells like a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah. So let's get this set up here. We've got Gulb sleeping immediately. He's going for a long rest, I believe, second and third watches. We've got Yoshka doing what?
Sleeping both, if possible.
Okay. Belvari is already asleep. Diamondback is up doing the second watch. Neno?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that last one.
You'll take the last one. Okay.
So you'll sleep for this time.
Yeah, she'll sleep second watch and take third watch. Diamondback, tell me about what level of attention you are putting to listening for sounds and stuff.
My full attention is on the outdoors.
Okay. Let me roll
I'm only sort of idly playing with my component pouch the way somebody might knit in their spare time.
Yeah, fidgeting
or
around.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna roll this watch's potential encounter. Take into account that you are paying attention and also just had an encounter, which makes it significantly less likely. And
20.
You did not. Okay, so the middle watch passes uneventfully.
While I'm sitting there awake, can I would like to ponder on the things that we just fought and see if I can understand their nature a little bit.
When you say the things we just fought.
Yeah,
the
crazy
lobster man.
Lobster furry creatures that we didn't even really see very well.
You did not.
Presumably their bodies are around and we've sort of harvested them, so I have a good idea of their physical characteristics, but I'd like to do a nature check to try and see if I can know what they actually are. While I'm sitting here.
Let me look at your... Just give me 1 second here. Let me pull up that encounter. Sorry, give me 1 sec. Campaigns. Actually don't know how to get directly to encounters through... Let's see...
Neither either.
Okay, here we go. My encounters. Go ahead, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Give me both an Arcana and a Nature check. These are unusual creatures.
Okay. So the Arcana check is going to come to a 17.
Mm-hmm.
The Nature check is going to come to an 18.
Okay, those are great.
Nice.
And worthy of each other.
Here is what you know about these. The rest of you don't know this. So, there you go. Diamondback, you can feel free to tell the others about this if you like in the morning. Here's what you have gleaned. You piece together some things from your past and some of the things you've overheard. Other, let's call them serpent assassins from your clan talk about in the past. These are creatures that you you're aware of the general kind. They are Fae. You know that as something like they come from.
Right. We discerned that they were Fae pretty quickly.
Yeah, these in particular are dark, like creatures of darkness in the Fae, much like the forest here is dark. They're dangerous creatures, and your sense, you're pretty sure this is how it worked, especially from some of the sensations you had during the fight, is that they are predators who prey upon the fear, who consume the fear of non-Fae creatures like yourselves. So they come out of the Fae into this forest to make you afraid. They do things to make you afraid, and then in that fear they gain nourishment. And the fight was about that. They don't try to kill quickly. They're not stealthy, whatever. They are inducers of terror for the sake of their nourishment. And that's what you know about them.
Okay. Matthew, the player, knows that meanlocks sometimes build layers. Does Diamondback know that?
Let me check if Diamondback knows that. You suspect that. You have
Okay.
inklings that probably they sometimes stay for longer periods out of the Fae than just an in and out.
Okay.
So that y'all can come back in. Anybody who good. So that is the second watch. Diamondback, what are you going to do? End of second watch.
I zip up my snake back into a staff, and I tap, tap, tap Nino on the shoulder, and I say, "Get up. It's your turn."
And I roll right over and pretty much pop right awake. Old ladies don't get much sleep most of the time.
Okay. Sounds good. So, sorry, should I be saying Neno or Nino?
You know what? Dwarves aren't picky, or not, forest
Gnomes.
Gnomes aren't picky like that.
Okay.
Call me what you like.
Fair enough.
If I don't like it, I'll bop you on the nose and we'll be good.
Sounds good. The third person omniscient is also unsure of what to call it. That works for me. So I'm just kidding. I'm the second person omniscient in this. So we are in the second watch. The third watch. No. What is it you're hoping to? How is it you're spending your time? You have a component pouch, which you may want to do things with. You also can listen for, snakes or whatever. You tell me.
Yeah, I think that at the start of my watch, I'm just going to go around and kind of hover over each of the people in the room who's sleeping and see what I can learn about them, because they're total strangers to me. We left in the afternoon, we sprinted our way here, we dashed, and then we fought. But I don't know anything about these guys. And I appear to have thrown in my lot, so I'm going to try and investigate, learn what I can, and then hopefully tomorrow we can start some conversations.
Sure.
A good opportunity for us to give physical descriptions of our players.
This is a terrific opportunity for that. No, Aaron Joy, what I'd like for you to do is, and thank you, Matt, I didn't think of that. What I'd like for you to do is go around, narrate yourself going around from person to person, and we will hear the physical descriptions that they give once you say you are looming over them ominously in the night.
I am.
And first, how much attention are you putting to this investigation?
Like 1/10 of my attention.
Okay, so you're just trying to get a cursory understanding of how many scars or whatever.
Yeah, I'm awake and I would be bored, so I might as well look at my surroundings.
Sounds good.
As best I can in the dim light.
I'm going to real quickly roll for our encounter. No encounter, okay.
Now you can give more attention.
Good point. So I would start with the kid. Nena would start with the kid. And she maxes out at 4 foot on her tiptoes, so looming might not be the right word. But
comfortably observing.
Yes, from 3 feet away, far enough away that she, with her gnomish nose, isn't breathing a lot of air on them enough to wake them up. She's keeping distance but looking. So she's going to start with Belvari and his dog.
You notice a very nondescript 16-year-old boy who looks like he could speak Orcish.
What color
I
is
am
his hair,
so
though?
observant about that Orcishness. Woo!
It's a nondescript color.
You look at it and it's Disney green. Your eyes just don't even really register it. All right, so he has Disney green hair, so he's also an anime character.
What about like hair color, face shape, any unusual
I'll go.
facial features like a strange nose? Yeah, go
Listen here, you son of a
As,
gun.
as your mind tries to form a picture of his face, it just sort of slides right off.
Neno sees a young man sleeping in the on the side of this room, not right against the wall, but a little bit away from it, which makes good sense because, as we have seen, there are holes big enough for a giant boa constrictor to slide in and out. She sees him laying there. He does not seem to be resting peacefully. He seems to be a little bit wary, not quite with one eye open. He's a young man of about 16 to 18 years old, and you can't quite tell for sure, but he's a human. Looks like he is none the worse for wear. He's not missing any limbs, doesn't have any signs of major battle or having been enslaved. Nonetheless, he is out and about in the world, which is very unusual for anybody, much less for a boy of his age. He does not seem to be related directly to any of the other people in this cabin, so you are unsure of how he came to be with them, but with them he is, and clearly by choice.
Can I ask, is he scrawny? Does he need fattening up? This is important to my heart.
Belvari?
Belvari is unaware of his condition as far as it goes to...
I will tell you, Neno, he seems to have had enough to eat. He's not fat or portly or anything, but he's also not emaciated. He's doing fine.
But I think we have
anyway, because
we have established that he's on the maybe like medium to medium slight size of body build, though, because he made a big deal of, he's always staying low, hiding exceptionally well. I can't imagine that he's, some huge dude doing that.
And Neno wouldn't know this, so Neno's not hearing this, but Aaron Joy, you can hear, is that he has a certain kind of magic of the druids with him that allows him to transform into animals, and in his animal state is able to hunt and things.
Okay.
Okay, so what else? Next?
She pats the dog a little bit, and the dog snuffles around at her. Instant friends already. And meanders her way over toward Yoshka.
You see a black-haired, young 20s man, kind of broad-shouldered, broad-necked, broad-faced, cleft-chinned, scruffy, dark mustache.
Broad at the shoulder, narrow at the hip, and everybody knew you don't give no lip to Yoshka.
Whoa.
Bow, bow, bow to Yoshka.
You can kind of tell he's gap-toothed. He's not particularly good-looking, and he's kind of doing like this. It looks like he's having a bad dream.
He's got a beard and a furry hat, right?
That's right. He's the only one in the party with wintry clothes, and he has like a fur cap with the ear flaps and a red button, and they're distinctive to the wayfarers. And they remind you of the kind of clothes, the wayfarers that you've seen in your village.
The kind of clothes my forefathers wore.
Your forefathers.
Okay. All right. So I think Neno hums a little something as she's like near Yoshka. It seems like this is restless sleep. He needs a little bit of extra soothing. So she hums, not words, not speaks, just hums a little lullaby tune, and his tossing gets a little less vehement. And she backs up and gives him the space and goes over and just sits right on the ground right next to Diamondback.
So, Diamondback is probably approaching Diamondback. You see that he's almost as young as Belvari. He's probably something like 18, maybe a little older than Belvari. Although his bearing is being much more confident than Belvari's, you might have thought that he was older. Although maybe not. You might be more perceptive than that. So what you see is a medium build, fairly thin human boy who seems to have been working his glam muscles. He's trying to get a six-pack if he can. He's got a completely hairless face and kind of longish black hair on his head. Doesn't look like he could grow a beard even if he wanted to. I mean, he's sleeping on his side right now with the shirt not on his body, but rolled up as a pillow on top of his component pouch. So his hands are sort of on his component pouch, and the shirt is sort of rolled up on top of that, and that's what his head is on. So you have a full view of like his whole torso and his back, and you see that on his back are these pretty ornate snake tattoos, like the scales of a diamondback snake.
And Neno, roll me, if you will, please, a perception
History.
check.
Oh,
Perception.
I want to see whether she knows the Snake Clan. I wish it was a history check.
I got a 10.
Okay. Go on, Matt.
And the other notable feature that you see is a pretty nasty scar on his chest. Pretty nasty scar right on his chest. It looks like probably just a few days ago he may have been actually impaled by something.
It's not in the center. It's a little bit up from his rippling six-pack.
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot that Sleem pulled him off of that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the worse for wear from his time in the woods, going around with these adventurers, and he's been healed up. He's currently sound of body, but he's been put through some injuries.
Not even mending can get rid of some scars.
All right. So
Tip your DMs.
while she's there by Diamondback, able to see his back, she pulls out from, she's wearing 8 various colored skirts, one right on top of each other, and she pulls out from inside one of them a little bit of thread and a bone needle, and she zips right into her skirt and 2 shakes of lamb's tail. The very detailed, exactly what's on Diamondback's back, and then tucks it all right back away underneath. It's in some layer of her skirt, never to be seen again, maybe, unless she flips that part open or something. But and then she she doesn't stand right up. She like rolls over onto her knees and her arms and like pushes herself up because she was sitting on the hard ground for a bit of time, and sometimes you gotta shake the bones. So stretches herself up, makes her way what would be over to the far side of the room where Gold is, except it's not that big of a room, and he is a very big guy, so she basically moves like 1.5 feet and plops down kind of near her shoulder.
So you see that Gold is laying on his side, and he's got his head on his pack, which is a pretty big pack. And so he has pulled out a little pouch on the side of it. It looks like after he flopped down, he kind of threw his pack down and he hit the ground and he pulled it over. You see, as he turned on his side, he kind of reached up and pulled out this little doll that he's holding in his hand. It's a very weird, scraggly looking little doll. It looks like it might be made of like pieces of human hair pulled out of a comb or something, and scraps of cloth. Anyway, you see him as he's laying there. You can see color coming back into his skin as you sit there over the course of 15 minutes. He's a shade more saturated. Before he was just really pale, and so he's got on a big piece of armor that's got glistening, shimmering, glinting, scintillating scarab beetles all over it, but kind of checkered. And under that, you see a lot of furs, a lot of kind of simple hide clothing that's got big stitch, big thick sinews holding it together, and what looks like a big poncho that looks like it's been just soaked in wax or something. And on his body, you see a big, big tattoo, and it looks like some kind of holy symbol. It's got a big swoopy shape in it. It's got a long line connecting the whole thing, and on one side it's got a swoop, and up top it's got something jagged, and it's got a couple of slashes in there. And you kind of notice, as you look at other parts of him, you see it stitched on the edge of his poncho. You see it if you look in his bag at all and you make a 20 on your perception, you might notice it somewhere in there. But yeah. Okay. And his feet, man, they're thick, calloused, enormous orc feet. He's like 7 feet tall. So, and as he breathes, it's a but real deep.
All right.
So she does the same thing, but she doesn't copy his design that she sees over and over, and she doesn't copy that design exactly as is. She copies a mirror image of it because she doesn't. It's not a picture. She doesn't know what it is. It might be a letter, and she's not really interested in putting writing on her skirts, but she can put a mirror image and remember what it is and keep the picture of it.
Sounds good. So the rest of the evening passes on. Neno, you're awake still for the rest of the evening. The other four of you have a D20 out for me.
Here it is.
All right, Neno, Aaron Joy, if you'll head to the DM chat for a minute.
Uh-huh.
If I were her DM, I'd be like, first of all, every single time you sit at a table with me, you will start with inspiration, because that's pretty much the best character concept execution I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
that was
great.
amazing.
That was cool.
All right.
Holy crap, that was awesome.
So here we go.
The skirt of stories.
Oh wait, this is. She's Sir Robert didn't go with her.
I did not.
Oh, it's us. Okay.
You put her in the penalty box. Okay.
Each of you should have a D20.
Uh-huh.
All right. As you sleep, you find yourself having a dream, and it's one of those strange dreams where it's not a regular dream. You're aware of the dream, even if you're not aware that you're aware of it. You'll remember something about it in the morning, but it's that kind of feeling, You find yourselves in the forest, It's no particular part of the forest, but it feels somewhat familiar to you. It's a reasonable piece of forest. It doesn't feel scary. It doesn't feel homey. It's just forest. It's dusk. The light is dimming, but you've got some time. You're not feeling anxious about being out, and you're finding yourself in the middle of a clearing. You take a few steps forward, and you're in the middle of a clearing that's 20, 30 feet diameter. And you sit down in the middle of it in a position that seems comfortable to you. And you notice that it's that really cool time of evening where if you're not worried about anything, if you have a home, you find it pleasant that the fireflies have started rising up off the forest floor and are making a really interesting kind of light show. They do that sometimes, not all year round, but sometimes. You see the fireflies, and you look up, and you notice that the trees above you, it's very unusual. The low wood that's all around you isn't completely closing off in a canopy above. There's a hole a few feet wide in the canopy above. And as you look up there, you see it's 50 or 100 feet up. You see fireflies there as well, and that is unusual. And you notice that that's unusual because fireflies hang out on the ground. But up in that canopy above you, that hole in the canopy, they're rising and rising, and then disappearing and more rising, just like the ones on the ground. Everybody roll your d20. Tell me what you get.
Natural 20.
Gold has a 3. Oh, 16. Which one is it?
16.
16. You got a what, Yoshka?
1.
Okay. Yoshka, sorry, and Diamondback, what'd you get?
11.
Okay. Yoshka and Diamondback, why don't y'all go to the DM chat?
Bye.
All right, Belvari and Gulb. You are sitting and you're seeing that canopy above you and the hole in the low wood canopy. But you notice actually past that, somehow, it's one of those strange dream magic things. You are able to see that the greater canopy above also has a hole. You can't see what's up there, but it's far away and dark and you can't tell. But you can tell that there are fireflies up there as well, shimmering and twinkling, and far, far away. It's hard to see them, but you see the fireflies. And some of them are moving in strange ways through the small gap way, way up high. One of them in particular, one of those fireflies in particular, seems to stretch and grow almost like it's got a tail on it or something that's also glowing. And the firefly, unlike the others that are more just shimmering, this one seems to be traveling a little bit through the hole, like very slowly and purposefully. Your attention, as you start hearing something, your attention draws down further back through that first canopy hole and then down to the ground. There are no more fireflies. But what there is in front of you is a symbol that is meaningful to you. You understand it, you get it a little bit, but you don't quite know why. Go ahead and roll me a d20, each of you.
Oh my gosh.
2.
I rolled the same die and I rolled the same number.
All right.
16.
Belvari, why don't you head out into the DM chat?
Okay, just a second.
And Gulb, as you lay there in your dream state still, this symbol, you know keenly what it is, Gulb. It is this symbol that your people consider holy, but it's not that symbol alone. It has maybe other symbols around it, or maybe it's more of that symbol. You don't know. You don't understand what that is. It's in a bright white light, not super bright, but it's a shimmering white light, whiter than most light that you see. And as you're paying attention to it and it's flickering this sort of pale whiteness, beyond it you see that the forest itself is beginning to flicker. And as your focus changes, you see that in the distance, far, far beyond the trees, it looks as though the forest itself is engulfed in flames. You're not worried about that. You find it strange, but you do. Normally, a forest fire would be terrifying, but it's not in this case, and you're not sure why. Roll me one more d20.
9.
And in the morning, you awake, feeling refreshed. I'm going to go grab those other guys. All right, y'all can come back in.
Okay. Welcome back to us.
I think I might still be waiting for a couple people.
I'm here.
We're getting some video back. Aaron, are you here? Aaron Joy?
I'm totally here. Can you hear me?
Yep. In the morning, you four awake, refreshed. You feel an increased morale. It's going to be a good day, you think. No.
I think we... Okay.
No, you don't particularly notice anything about them, but they do wake seemingly in good spirits. Hopefully that is their nature, because you're on a journey with them. Josh, what were you going to say?
Diamondback rises. I'm sorry, did you ask a question?
No, go for it.
Do you want to roll initiative with me, Matt, to see which one of us wakes up first?
Yes.
Do it.
Also, did we get a long rest if we got 2 shifts of sleep?
You did.
I'm looking at 13 initiative, Gulb.
I'm looking at less than half of that, my man. You're up.
Diamondback, Neno will see Diamondback get up, stretch, arms all the way above the head, stretching, and then
Yeah, he is.
attach his component pouch to like his belt, and take the shirt and sort of just put it over one shoulder, and go right outside, and finds his dagger on the floor right outside of the hut.
It is morning time. I'm going to. Would you like to solicit help with it, or do you want to just go look?
I mean, the first thing he's going to do is just go out there and look for it.
Okay. Without advantage, it's lighter now. DC 7 check. It's not hidden. It's just you didn't find it in the dark.
That is 10 plus 2 perception check for 12.
You scour for it for several minutes, hopefully while somebody else is cooking up some rations or something. But you do find it. You find your dagger, none the worse for wear. It has fallen and scuttered under some leaves and branches, but it is in good shape, and you are reunited.
Anybody
with your
watching
best friend.
would see that it's a bone dagger that is long and very curved, just like the fang of a diamondback rattlesnake, meant for stabbing, not for cutting.
Aren't we
Just
all?
like the fang of a very, very large rattlesnake.
Yeah, it's probably the rib
it's
of
just
some
the same
creature.
shape. Yeah, it's probably the rib of like a deer or something. It's not.
Gotcha.
Formed
It's not
to
like
look
a dragon's tooth or anything.
So let's figure out where we're going. Tell me what you're going to do with this first hour. Typically, y'all have been having some food.
When
Go ahead,
Gulb
Gulb.
wakes up, he has a really like confused kind of look on his face, and you see him begin muttering. He's still holding onto this doll. I think he doesn't even realize he's holding it, and you see him begin kind of beating on his chest, and he's kind of chanting something, and he goes and he grabs Belvari, and he doesn't even stop singing to try to explain. He's just kind of does his hand at Belvari like, sing with me. And then when Belvari...
No, Belvari has walked away from this.
Has left the building?
Yeah.
As soon as he saw it?
Yeah. It makes him nervous and scared.
Okay, I think, he's
Belvari
not going to go
walks
looking
past Diamondback as he exits.
Gold kind of sings.
Good morning.
You see him kind of singing a song to himself, and he's kind of like staring off in the distance, and his hands come towards himself. And then you see his fingers do this. He's kind of beating on his chest. And he goes, "Circle! I call the circle." And he says it in Orcish as well, if Belvari can hear it. I think first he says it in Orc, and then he says it in Common.
Yoshka comes up immediately with keen interest.
We must all speak before the day begins.
Okay.
You see Diamondback's head in the door because he understands Orcish, and he says, "I'm not part of your circle, but if you want."
You are. We are all on this together.
So Diamondback comes in and stands with him.
I think
Neno, of course, is there. She's awake. She's listening. She heard him say circle, and she's up for learning anything she can. So
I think maybe fire is coming. Something dangerous for all the forest. We need to find Davina quickly. The man at the place will help find. We need to find this boy and bring him back quickly so we can find Davina.
Ah, very good. I have had... Was it a dream? I had a dream. There was a fire.
Something fire. I don't know. But I think maybe danger is coming to forest. Cannot mean good thing. It cannot mean a good thing.
We should compare dreams. I have mine all in a song. I will sing you as we travel. And you can tell me all about yours.
Yeah, Golb was kind of trying to mutter to himself what happened in song so that he could remember it. But it's a very simple one, a very crude one.
All right, good.
Oh, very good.
Do you want to...
Belvari was just outside the cabin listening to all that, but trying not to be seen.
Okay. Sounds good. Roll a stealth check.
Roll a stealth check.
How's a 17 feel?
It feels pretty good to Belvari.
We all have to roll perceptions, right? And see if any of our...
No, it's
Beats
your
my
passive
passive perception.
Yeah.
So Belvari feels pretty confident that he did a good job hiding. And he seems like he might have. At least to his ability to tell, nobody seemed to notice him. And also nobody seemed to mention, like, there's that Belvari giving me the stink eye or whatever. Okay, so do y'all want to eat your rations? If so, decrement them. And I recommend, because this is just me trying to be helpful, you know that you are on at least one clock to rescue this boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We want to move all day.
All right.
Let's cook and eat while we travel.
So I think if no one else has decremented anything yet, let me do it for everybody, because I've got a ton of meat here. So
Right.
I'm going to decrement
he's gonna
5
cook up-
rations.
He's going to cook up all that meat.
Yeah, so this is
Good.
spiny-footed antelope. It's a nice little change up, a little respite from the elk meat.
Buckle up, because it's all elk meat from here on out. You're traveling with Joe Rogan, baby. We eat nothing but raw elk meat all the time. Woo!
This is the world of podcasting.
That's right. I need the iron to get my voice this tall.
That's right. That's pretty intense. Haven't seen
When you
anything
draw-
like that.
when you draw your character, I want to see a realistic depiction of everything that you carry with you, including the elk horns, the giant
that's
elk
true.
horns.
Because I forgot about that. Yeah. So basically, yeah.
All right.
I do need to draw that because he has enormous, like. Actually, you know what? I think I left the elk horns back at the village.
Let's get on the road.
I untied those. So all right, let's go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get on the road.
Underway.
And as we're going on the road, y'all can. We'll have it be that y'all have exchanged a little bit about your dreams that you're saying, but we also need to do a couple of things as we go on the road. So first, before you go. You have a quick discussion, as we did earlier at the outset of the meeting. Orden, you remember, is a demi-halfling that you're looking for. He's about 4 feet tall, 14-year-old-ish boy. You have this little roughly sketched map that Garriott gave you. He did a good job. You remember he just kind of scrawled something out. He did a good job making it look not conspicuously like writing or drawing. It's a piece of paper with scratches on it, but he explained to you what it is. It's crudely sketched, but it has all the key pieces of information, though without any real sense of scale. From what he told you, you think you have about another 8 hours to go before you get to the place where you're trying to get. It's a spring, if you remember, that leads. He gave you water breathing, little potions of water breathing, and you'll need to go into this spring. And he says that spring is the water source of the slave town. Takes you into there. According to the map, sometime ahead of you, you're guessing about 8 hours from what he told you, the road's going to fork. And when it does, you don't go to the right or to the left. You'll continue on straight and go through the brush for a little while, not very long, and then you'll see the spring, the source of the spring, and that's your clue for being ready to go in. Excuse me, because you'll see a little spring-fed pond. So that's what you're looking for. You've got 12 hours, approximately 12 hours of daylight left, and you think about 8-ish hours of travel. And so, what do you want to do?
We need to make it to the spring by nightfall.
Yes.
Let's move quickly.
Yeah, we don't have any reasons to go in. Don't want to put ourselves in the attention of the slavers, so let's try and get in like just at dusk when they are closing gates and less likely to notice us.
There are two villages. One is the orcs, the other is behind. It is the farm of slaves.
Okay. So are we going into the farm of slaves? Is that where the spring lets us out? Okay.
Mr. DM, while we're eating, if I can,
Mm-hmm.
Diamondback would like to try and make a lucky roll. I expect that the DC for this is very high, and I don't want to spend any time on it.
Okay.
So maybe I have to catch up if the other characters go on ahead a little bit while I'm doing this. But I would like to hunt around for any hideouts or any layers that the meanlocks that we fought last night might have created.
Okay.
Where any of them might still be hiding, or if they might have hidden anything, or if they might have any prisoners there or anything like that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an averaged history and investigation.
All right.
You're going to use your sense of history to help your investigation.
So that's a 19 history, and the investigation is 21. So it's a roll of 20, averaging those two together.
Okay. So yeah, then here's what we're going to do. You're pretty confident when you start out. This is how we're going to kind of retcon this in. You're pretty confident that when you start out that you think with maybe a half hour's looking, you could probably come up with some kind of indication of these meanlock, of what they were, where they either some kind of den or perhaps just other prey they had encountered or something like that. Why don't you tell? You think it's going to take you about half an hour, 45 minutes to get a sense if you're going to find anything at all. Tell these guys what you want to do. And yes, you do find something. Just telling you.
I say to Yoshka, the creatures that attacked us last night frequently dig lairs, and they're known to take captives, which they hold in a state of permanent nightmare underground. If it would be a charitable deed for us to seek for any such lair and at least investigate.
Well, I have in my mind, I am hoping we will make this, we can remember this place and get back here before the long night. But I think we should try to save the captive we know about before we look for a captive we don't know about.
As you say.
Golb steps up to Yoshka and kind of shakes his head no at him and holds up the little doll and says,
Davina's blessing is for everyone. You know Davina's heart. You know her will. She is still one of us. She is still here. Her voice would say, we saved this man.
And Diamondback, with those rolls, you would, Matt, with those rolls, Diamondback would have a sense that the others are not going to be particularly helpful to you in finding them. They're not going to hurt, but you'll do just as well by yourself as with them because it's your knowledge of the kind of lore of these guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell them to, or
whatever you want.
I'll say, can you wait for only 15 minutes and then start out and I'll catch up. I figure I can make up a 15-minute head start.
So
you should not stay behind by yourself. I will go with you.
Okay.
Very well.
You two will catch up. You can carry him if you need to run.
I don't know if y'all heard, but I said that I would go with him.
Belvari will stay and help look.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is likely that they have no captive, but it is good to check.
Well, when do we want to get there? How much sunlight do we have?
Well, it seems
12
like we
hours,
calculated
like
that we have
every day.
about 4 spare hours of sunlight.
Give or take.
We have this, and he holds up this circle of the night watch, and I think this will be useful if we want to go in at night when they cannot see and unless they have one of these. And I know it is in my mind perhaps Belvari can go in first as a little kitty cat or something like that. When let's plan, when do we want to arrive? Do we have time? I think maybe we do have time if we want to get there near dusk.
We go in at night.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so I lead them through the forest to wherever I most sense the gathering of the Shadow Fae.
Yeah, so you search for about half an hour. You're doing something akin to tracking. You're not using, you're not looking for footprints exactly. You're looking for things like marks on trees and some other stuff. But really, what you find is you're following Matt in spite of your, Diamondback, in spite of your instincts. You're following the gradient of a sense of foreboding. You can feel it almost like you're tracking these meanlocks. So you get more and more dire a sense of foreboding as you go for about half an hour. Everybody roll me, please, an intimidation check.
Wait, we're trying to intimidate somebody?
No. But
You mean a charisma
wisdom?
saving throw?
yeah, let's do a charisma savings throw.
My intimidation check works as a charisma saving throw. The same.
Right. Diamondback rolled a 5
Okay.
on his charisma saving throw.
Anybody else?
16.
23.
11.
And Gulb?
18 for Gulb.
Okay, Diamondback, you're on the forefront of this, and Neno is right there with you on it. There's a point at which you get kind of terrified. Belvari, Yoshka, and Gulb don't have the same sense of it. They can tell what's happened. That there's this foreboding sense, but Diamondback and Neno are quite reticent to continue. Belvari, Yoshka, Gulb, I'll leave it to you to negotiate with him whether to continue or not. You think you all are probably sure because you've been talking about it that you're on the right track, but Diamondback and Neno have gotten.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I ever led you this way. It's too dangerous. We have to go back to the road.
I'm so afraid. I don't know what I'm afraid of. Why am I afraid? There's nothing here. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine.
No, we are awake.
Let's go.
We can keep going. Listen, I had nightmares of these creatures last night, and if anybody else is having them, we need to find them.
Diamondback, you must kill them for your honor.
Diamondback, Neno, are you going to be persuaded to go further?
I mean, if I'm
Diamondback, you're the
I'm
one who
under the
matters for
effect-
this.
I mean, I felt like you were telling me that I was under some kind of fear effect, but I'm not. My character is not actually.
Not under a fear effect, but you got really spooked. And if you think that they could persuade you to continue, great.
Let's see.
Well, then I guess I need to make a persuasion check.
I'm okay with a contested persuasion or whatever.
Belvari's like, you should go.
18,
chicken.
buddy.
I think.
Does the appeal to your honor, your ego, getting back up on top, does that provoke you?
Diamondback's resistance to their persuasion is not very strong, having rolled a 7. So I think he's persuaded. He says,
He's provoked.
You go first.
So Diamondback, you still lead them on the way, but they actually end up going ahead of you, and you kind of are pointing the way as a guide. You end up actually finding an overturned, fairly large tree, not like a great tree or anything, but it's a big old kind of oak type of tree. And what you find is it has fallen over with some of the roots, pulled up really high. And at the base where it forms that crook or that L with the earth and this huge mound of soil is a burrow-ish kind of hole, big enough for people. It's a small hole, small because they were small creatures, but you think you can definitely get in there. You have a strong sense of the same foreboding. You're pretty confident that this is where they have been holing up. What do you want to do? You want to take a look inside? You want to do what? It's dark. Obviously, it's a hole.
I would have to crawl in on my belly.
Yeah, snake-like. As would anybody else who wants to go in with you. You can take a torch also or whatever.
Do you know if we call for them, can they awake?
I know not if they speak any mortal languages, but I'll try. And Diamondback.
Wait, why do we want to wake them up? Let's not wake them up.
Oh, more. You think there are more meanlocks in here? Not
That's
people
what we're
with the
looking
night.
for, right?
Oh.
We're looking for the meanlock nest. I don't want anything to do with that.
Oh, I forgot.
I'm freaking out.
We haven't convinced her of anything. So Nino is terrified in the corner. I think Gulb goes over to her and kneels down and says,
You may stay at a distance. We would not ask you to danger yourself if you are not in the spirit to fight. Would you like to wait over here?
He kind of points over at a branch that's like 7 feet up in the air. It's like, I could kind of pantomimes putting you up there like an object on the shelf.
And at this point, she just looks at you guys like you are all bonkers. We just barely made it out of a fight last night. Just barely. I mean, as far as she knows. Compared to all of your other fights, what does she know? This is her first fight. It was a just barely fight. We just barely made it out. And now we have a time-limited mission we were going, and we decided instead to stay and rouse the beasts that almost killed us. If we're going to rescue people, let's do at least do me first. And do it all really quick. So she's bringing all of the logic wisdom to bear if she can.
Gold turns to Diamondback and says,
She made a much better point when she said it than when I said it. I think I agree with her.
Bavaria turns into a chimpanzee and climbs in the hole.
Oh, so brave. What a brave boy. Oh my, what a brave boy.
Bravest of boys.
And Bavari, don't forget to decrement the appropriate things.
Yeah.
Okay, Diamondback, are you going to follow him in, or?
Diamondback lights a torch and goes in right after him.
Yoshka, what are you going to do?
So brave.
I will wait outside.
Neno and Gulb waiting outside?
Gulb walks over to the hole, puts his hands into the hole, and brings them towards his chest, and I imagine that his shoulders are sticking out a good ways on either side.
Great, that sounds good. Neno, Yoshka, and Gulb, go to the DM chat.
Okay.
Belvari, Diamondback, you wiggle your way in, and you can tell this is not a home. It's not a constructed thing. It's a little burrowed out kind of tunnel. It goes for about 30 feet. It's kind of long way. It's at an angle, not a steep angle, but maybe a 15-degree angle downward. And after a little bit, it opens up into and Belvari the chimp. It was a chimp, right?
Yeah.
Belvari the chimp is in front. Diamondback has a torch that he's pushing ahead of him. He's not too far behind, but you're not going to try to catch Belvari on fire. You hear breathing up ahead after you've gone about 30 feet, and it opens up into a kind of a lair, kind of a den almost. It's not well kept or anything like that, and you can tell that there has been motion in here, like something being dragged around. What you see is the roots of the trees around this particular tree have been kind of woven into almost like ropes, and tying very sturdily have tied a creature up. It is kind of lashed to the wall of this muddy, rocky cave. It's not a cave, it's just a den. This creature is kind of lashed to it. It's a significant sized creature. It's a good, number of feet tall. Go ahead and roll me a nature check to tell what it is. Both of you can do this.
That's just going to be a 13.
Okay.
16.
You discuss briefly. No, you're a chimp.
Yeah.
Both of you have a sense of what this is. Your light flickers and you see it shining a little bit. To your significant surprise, you have found a not small but smallish, about the size of you. It's a medium creature, a copper dragon wormling. This wormling is entangled into the muck and mire with these ropey roots, and it is writhing and twisting as though it is having a horrific nightmare. It has been clearly kept here against its will and is in something like either a sleep or a trance or something, and is just terrified. But it's also apparently unconscious. It's not doing, it's not like screaming out or anything like that. What would you like to do?
Elvari will
I-
wait for Diamondback to make a motion.
Do I have enough knowledge of dragons to know that the copper ones, that metallic dragons, are generally friendly?
Yeah. You know that as
great.
something like forbidden lore from your people.
Right. So we love dragons.
Yeah, they're snaky.
I say to Belvari, we must save the copper worm, and I begin to like pull at the roots and try and break them if I can. I have a mess kit which I am hoping has something like a dagger to cut meat with. My actual daggers are point weapons without edges, but I think I have something with an edge that I can use to cut at these roots.
Yeah, very common to have a flint knife or something like that.
Something like that.
Okay,
Can
so
I
I'm cutting at the
root?
I'm cutting at the roots.
And Belvari?
Can I tear at the roots?
Yeah,
using
as a chimp, you have a good. You feel like you could definitely rip some of them apart.
I'd go for it.
Okay, you successfully do it. It was tied up, but it is not like chains or anything like that. You are able to get it free. Here's what happens. We're gonna tell you what happens. Then I'm gonna pop in there, bring the other guys back, and we're gonna narrate there a bit. As you are untying this thing, this wormling, it's writhing around, and just as it has been. And as you finally get it kind of majorly free, it thumps to the ground because it's no longer being held against the wall. It thumps to the ground, it falls a couple of feet, and it seems to shock awake. When it does, it sees your torchlight. It's shimmering, it itself is shimmering in your torchlight, and it screeches some kind of howl and just exhales really strongly. Both of you roll me a DC 11 con saving throw.
Oh boy. Right, it's terrified. Ouch. That's going to be a big old 4.
Okay.
I got a 5.
Okay. So what's happened is each creature in the area, which is this whole little cabin, failed to save. The creature can't use reactions. Your speed is halved, and you can't make more than one attack on your turn. In addition, you can use either an action or a bonus action, but not both, for about a minute. Basically, it's giving you this kind of lethargic gas, right? You can repeat your savings throw and that. Okay, so the creature thrashes wildly, and each of you roll a d4, take that much damage.
Ouch. 4 damage.
3.
Okay, and in an instant, it has wriggled its way out the path. It does not seem to be attacking you. It was, panic. Let's go ahead and pull those other guys in. I'll be right back.
I have wrinkles around
All right,
my
we're
eyes,
ready.
which I literally couldn't see before because I literally couldn't see them because they were covered by the glasses. Ah! Okay, back to the game.
Okay.
Thankfully, Belvari has extra 8 hit points.
Okay. Yoshka, you here?
Yeah.
All right. Yoshka, Gulb, Neno. You hear a little bit of commotion, but it's muted. Nothing big, nothing scary or anything. You're wary that there's a chimp, Belvari chimp, and Diamondback are in there, but they've been gone for a couple of minutes. Clearly, they're kind of going a little bit farther. You can't see the torchlight. You can't see the torchlight at all. You're sort of a little bit antsy, talking amongst yourselves about them going into this crazy little hole. And
Would you like to hear what we did while they were gone out of our sight?
Not this time.
Okay.
Just in the interest of time, though, I'm interested. But you hear something rustling, and you look into the hole, and to your significant surprise, what you see is something like a snake with tendrils coming off of it, wriggling and writhing extremely fast. It comes out, gets halfway out. It's got a long, like 8-10 foot long body, like snakish like. It gets about halfway out of the hole, sees the three of you there, writhes its front end around, screeching at you, and then immediately takes off into the forest. Diamondback and Belvari, what do you do?
I'm going to exit the hole, and on the way out, or I'm going to gesture for Belvari to get out first.
So does Gulb get an opportunity attack against this thing when it comes out of the hole?
Gulb is utterly astonished, and all of you are, and don't get a chance to do anything. It is like a flash.
Like a flying snake coming out of a rose bush.
Something like that.
Also, you would have to be like right by the holes, right? It has to be within 5 feet and then leave that.
So Belvari, I just
Belvari will crawl out.
Yep. Belvari and Diamondback make their way out. Is that right?
On my way out, I'm gonna pinch a little bit of the down of the orange-winged swallow between my fingers, and cast a nice little create bonfire spell on this tangle of roots in the center of their burrow, and just leave that burning for 1 minute.
Okay. Sounds good.
As we go.
Okay. You make your way out.
Smoke comes out behind me.
What? Smoke comes out behind you. Okay, great. You make your way out, and we'll let it be that you talk about that. You can do that after the fact. After the break, I'll let you narrate whatever you're going to talk about, but you're going to get on the road. Let's go and do at least the first watch right before we take our break. First watch worth of daytime travel, I mean to say.
And we make marks as we leave, so we can find this place when we head back.
Okay, sounds good. You find your way back to the road. It was not like you didn't travel really far. It took you about half an hour of relatively slow travel. You're able to get back to where you were. And you get back on the road and you start to travel. Now, y'all, you've used about an hour for this, right? Because you traveled there, did this weird little tunnel thing, and traveled back. You're going to finish this watch and this 4-hour chunk. You're going to try to make good time, right? Is that what you had said before? So road, you're going to know intuitively, all of you, that the road's going to be much faster than not the road. There's less chance of a creature on the road, but there's a greater chance of another person on the road. So as you go, let me roll for... You're traveling along, and it is mid-morning now. You're still, you've got plenty of time. You started off at about 7-ish o'clock, say, in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, and you're going to travel. This first watch is about 6 to 10. So I'm just going to...
real quick.
Yep.
Hey, so Robert. You'll want to note when in the watch it happens. Belvari will remain a chimpanzee for 1 hour after he...
Okay. He's still a chimp?
For like the first 45 minutes or whatever, yeah.
How are you going to be traveling in chimp form? Like in the trees or just walking with them or what?
Yeah, just walking.
Okay.
Or running or whatever I have to do to keep up.
Jungle Book kind of thing?
Yeah.
You can feel free to hop on and off of Gulb's pack.
Okay. So for the first, this was a very strange event that happened, by the way. It was just weird. None of you know exactly what to make of it. Diamondback and Belvari, I'll let you talk to them about it after the break. For that first hour, you don't have any kind of encounter on the road. Y'all are traveling, and you're making pretty good time. The road is squiggly. You could tell from the map. Garrett did not draw a straight line. It was kind of scratchy. And this road is like that. Remember that we're on hills, and you're actually near the great tree, what they call their great tree, which is the great willow tree. You're definitely under the boughs of this willow tree for sure. And you have been for days and days of travel, this great tree. It's shadowier here than usual, and there are, it has the scent of willow everywhere. That first hour you travel, nothing eventful happens, but you're making good time and you're paying attention to your surroundings. It is now almost 10 o'clock. Belvari has reverted from chimp form to human form, and his dog has resurfaced, as it were, from the forest, or maybe it was with him the whole time. There's a bend in the road up ahead of you, and you stop here because we roll an encounter, and we'll pick this up a little bit after the break, but I'm going to get it started here. But you hear some voices ahead of you. They're humanish, human orc, whatever, not weird voices. They don't sound angry, but they're not exactly happy sounding either. They're serious, might be a reasonable word for it. The road takes a sharp curve to the left and then back to the right. It may be a hairpin curve or not, around the hills of this great tree's roots, right? That's what's happening. This great willow has these roots that are all through here, and those make hills, and you're kind of traveling with consideration of those. So I'll ask you real quickly. You hear, or it doesn't have to be quick, but you hear the sounds of people up ahead around a bend where you can't see them. It's not like singing and dancing, but it's also not fighting or anything like that. What do you want to do?
Gulp turns and looks at Diamondback and at Belvari.
I would look around quickly for a hiding place.
Belvari is no longer animal, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, could I suggest whoever of us is sneakiest, sneak closer and see what we can see?
Well, considering I didn't even look at you when that's probably you. I couldn't even look at you.
My stealth
That's
is plus
sneaky.
3.
That is very sneaky.
Stealth is +3. Nice. My stealth is +2.
I am the
Same.
sneakiest. I will go and scout
Are
out
you
the
willing?
situation.
What about your? Can you send a flying snake?
Oh, has it reset, or would I need to meditate for an hour, Sir Robert?
No, that it would be. Oh, you did it. It happens at dawn, so it's reset to the previous thing. Is
sorry.
that
You know
in the
what?
Description?
This is going to sound crazy, but I think Gulp. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish what you were doing. Sorry.
Diamondback.
There's a lot of text here.
You
I'm
don't
trying to
s-
figure it out, but I.
Okay,
Go on.
yeah, it reset at dawn to its prior form, the flying snake, but it does not have. It is not a familiar.
Right.
It's
Oh,
just
Yeah,
a
I
snake.
can't see through its eyes or anything.
Yeah, it can't
Yeah.
communicate with you.
So-
It's just a snake.
So I'm going to
I
sneak
think.
myself.
Hang on. Gulp puts a hand on his shoulder and says,
Wait, my eyes are better, and I am only maybe a little bit less sneaky than you. So maybe it should be me.
Okay. I'll back you up with magic if you get in trouble.
Okay.
and Gulp gets down on all fours and kind of starts to spider crawl.
All right, is that what we're doing?
Sure.
And
Diamondback stays behind as Gulp sneaks ahead.
So
How
why
I'm just
jump
saying.
in
are you,
bushes
Gold? I
and
feel like you're
hide?
very loud and clumpy.
no. I think I should try to talk to them.
Gulb. Also, you all would know that Gulb has loud, magically distracting armor.
Yes.
And Yoshika being
I'm just-
a wayfarer, it has kind of an excuse to be out and about that the rest of us don't have. Wayfarers are out and about.
But only in bright daylight, which we're not in.
This is full
I'm just-
daylight.
Oh, well then I guess I have to roll again.
So what are you doing? What do you think?
I got a 21 to stealth with disadvantage. I said Gulp got down on his hands and knees. He's sneaking away.
Gulp
He
is sneaking.
disappears. He disappears into the
armor.
brush with a 21.
Okay. He has
Diamondback is also sneaking, but he's behind him, and if he sees him getting into trouble, he's going to back him up with magic.
Let's see your stealth.
Diamondback's stealth check is a 22. Rolled a
Y'all
19 plus 3.
Y'all both snuck really well. Yoshka may have been objecting, but y'all are gone. So here's
Well,
what happens.
Belvari has hidden
I look-
behind a bush, but only with a skill of 11, so
Okay.
it's a very skinny bush.
Everybody
Yoshka,
sees.
Yoshka
I'll
and
look
Nano,
at
do you want to
Caesar.
take any independent actions as well?
I'll
Or
look
just-
at Nano and say, "Well, would you like to go for a walk, my lady?" and offer her my hand.
Sure, sure.
Let's
So-
go. I think
Yeah,
this. I
let's
think.
go off
I
the
think we
road.
can talk this out, and just
Okay.
start walking around the bend and
Okay.
chatting with her so that they can kind of hear us coming.
Okay, so Gulb and Diamondback are sneaking directly through the kind of hairpinish turn, but Yoshka and Neno are walking around the road.
Mm-hmm.
Gulb and Diamondback are going to get there a little bit first. Here is what... Actually, you know what? Neno, Yoshka, and Belvari, why don't you go to the DM chat?
I love this game so much.
Okay, y'all ready?
We're ready.
Yes.
Here's what you guys hear. You are able to get close enough to both see and hear a bit through the brush. You hear voices ahead. They don't sound angry, but they aren't happy sounding either. You see a man who appears to be in his mid-30s. He's sitting on a rock, apparently giving directions to a few others who are doing work nearby, like he can see them. He is looking at some papers, and his foot is up, resting on an iron bell. You see the others working nearby. They seem to have cut down a tree and are in the process of removing its branches. Not a giant tree, just a small tree. You hear the man say, "We're going to need 4 solid poles. If you can't get them from that tree, cut down another. Keep it moving, though. I want to get out of here within an hour." After a few moments more, he seems to be muttering to himself and says, What is Spolash thinking? 3 more towns in 6 days and then to the caves? I can barely cover the ground that fast. He turns to the workers. He says, "All right, cut an extra 2 poles. We can't stop again." One of the workers, as they continue working, one of the workers says, "Yes, sir." They all seem to be quite competent and skilled. None of them are kids. They're all in their 20s. They're all in their late 20s to maybe mid 30s. The man sitting on the rock with his foot on the bell and looking at the papers, seems to say, this time not so much to himself, but more to the workmen, although you can't tell for sure who he's talking to. Maybe he's talking to himself. He says, "That idiot Yat will have to wait with the orcs for an extra hour or 2. And the 2 workers chatter between themselves for a few moments. You can't understand what they're saying. That is nothing, and then there's nothing distinct that they're doing. What do you want to do next? Now they've kind of finished what they're saying. That's the part you overheard that had any meaning to you. Oh, and you can hear Yoshka and Neno just about to come around the bend.
Gulb looks at Diamondback.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Gulb looks at Diamondback.
Diamondback. Diamondback is going to go ahead and take off his shirt. No. If he can do it really quietly, he's going to take off his shirt.
Y'all
But
are in
otherwise
some
he's-
brush. It'll be non-stealthy.
Okay, never mind. Staying completely stealthy. He is going to just motion to Gulb to stay here. He just sort of motions downwards with his hand, like lie low, stay here. Does a little 2-fingered watch, like watch with our eyes, just like saying let's see how the other 2 do in their in their bard encounter. Let's see if they can talk their way past.
Now,
Go winks at him.
Wait here 1 second. I'm going to bring those other guys in. I'm going to do a 20-second intro to them, and then we're going to cut to break.
Okay.
I could just sort of.
All right, guys, come on back in, if you will.
We're here.
All right. Belvari, you are not able to see what I'm describing, but you can hear because, you can hear the noise of some people and that sort of thing. So for the sake of Belvari, pay attention to what I'm saying. They hear, not what they see. Fair enough?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yoshka and Neno. As Gulb and Diamondback disappear into the brush, you chat with each other in a sort of friendly manner, heading around this curve. It takes you a minute or two, 2, 3, 4 minutes to make it around this curve. It's not like a long journey or anything. As you come around the curve, you hear them talking. You hear these people talking. You can't exactly make out what they're saying. But you do hear what sounds like the chopping of a little bit of wood. And as you turn the corner, here's what you see. There are 3 youngish men, not like kids, but late 20s, early 30s, who have felled a tree, and they're felled several trees that are smallish, not big trees, and they're cutting branches from it, doing some kind of work on it. There is a mid-30s sort of gruff-looking man who is sitting on a rock looking at a paper, some kind of piece of, like you might think a map would look or something. It's like a bigger sheet of paper he's looking over. He has got 1 foot up. They've got supplies around the rock, and they've clearly, they're doing something here and have been for a little bit. He's got 1 foot up, resting nonchalantly on an iron bell. You come around the corner. He seems to have just finished talking. One of the workers has said "yes, sir" to him. That's one of the first things you hear, and he mumbles to himself, maybe to them. You can't make out what he says. He looks up, sees you, doesn't seem to take much note of you, but says, "You two, come here," without getting up or making any particular notice. We're going to take our 10-minute break. We will pick up here on the other side.
Bad news bears.
You smell that? Smells like iron blood.
Go your own way, stones and shadows bite, willows whisper of darkness deep and wide. In the forest there is no place to hide. Strange bells, tonight I fear that I will not survive the dying of the light. Go your own way, stones and shadows bite, willows whisper.
We are back. This is The Dying of the Light, Season 3 of the Starfall Collective. The Starfall Collective is a collaborative storytelling group using the Dungeons & Dragons game system as a vehicle for creating rich and hyper-compelling stories in a fictional world that we've been developing together for a while. You can find out more about the collective, as well as the stories we're telling, at thestarfallcollective.com. We are back with a new episode. Let's find out who's in this episode. I am Sir Robert Burbridge, a father, entrepreneur, and, as I have said before, full-time DM. This is my entire life. And I am the host of this season's story. With me tonight are a few friends playing the characters in this drama. Please, briefly, if you will, say your name and the character that you're playing, and then we'll jump right into the action, picking up where we left off last time. Matt, we'll start with you.
Matthew Talamini. Website is matthewtalamini.com, same as my name. I play a shirtless wizard named Diamondback. He talks like this.
I'm Jared. I am stuck in Sir Robert's house trying to get out. Please help me. It really is his full-time job. I am playing a shirted bard.
Belvari.
Belvari is quietly sitting in the corner.
And Gulb. Josh.
I am Josh, and 6.5 days of the week I cosplay someone with another life, but this is my true self. This is the deepest part of me is here every Monday night with you playing Gulb.
And Aaron Joy had a connection issue during our break, but has asked me, not in so many words, to say the following. Hi, I'm Aaron Joy. I play Neno, a forest gnome. I am an outrageously good role player and have been significantly adding to the quality of this season. Please feel free to send your praise and adulation through the Starfall Collective website. If you can't figure out a way, that sounds like a personal problem. All right, let's go.
Erin's really been working on her sassy mouth.
Yep. She says her update is 30% complete, and that is the same as my update. So let's get to it. We left with Yoshka and Neno walking around the bend. They'll be coming around it when they come. Diamondback and Gulb heard some juicy tidbits from this guy sitting on the rock. Belvari hung behind a little bit. Yoshka and Neno decided to put all of their courage into one place and walk utterly blind into some strangers that they hear in the woods. Let's jump back in. There's the man sitting on a rock. He is looking at a sheet of paper that seems to have some kind of writing or something on it. That itself is an interesting clue of what kind of person this is. And also, he is sitting on the rock and is resting one foot nonchalantly on a medium-ish iron bow. As soon as he sees Yoshka and Neno coming around the bend, he says to them, "You two, come here."
Yes, my lord. Nana, just a minute.
And so, and Neno's going to come with you and just kind of follow along with you silently, letting you take the lead.
Okay. I go up to him and follow him.
What are you doing?
We have a lost dog. Have you seen him?
Haven't seen any dogs. What's your name?
Yoshka.
You're a wayfarer, obviously.
That's right.
Who's this gnome?
It's my grandma.
How many others are you traveling with?
Well, we had a dog. Our troop's up ahead.
Your pick. Roll me a performance or persuasion.
Not a deception.
No, I'm sorry. Your pick, performance or deception. No, wait. Straight up deception.
Persuasion.
Straight up
It's got to
deception.
be deception.
He is going
That's
to.
a lie.
Yeah, he's also going to be rolling perception to see what he thinks of what you're saying.
Ooh.
Fortunately,
Oh.
they only employ gullible people in the Iron Bell.
What you got?
28.
Ooh! Oh!
Have you ever told us the truth?
And so, Robert, it would normally
As much
be
as I can.
insight.
It would normally
It would
be
be
what?
insight.
I told you I
insight
prefer
to know if he
persuasion
was
to
telling the
deception.
truth.
Yeah. He looks at you, looks at Neno, and says, "What kind of copper do you have on you?"
Let me check. Oh.
I want to know if this is Griffith. I hope that Yoshka remembers the name Griffith and tries to figure out whether this is that person.
So as I'm looking, I start. I take off my pack and I say, I'm not sure. I just did a little bit of business. Let me check. Floating. Oh, young Lochinvar has come out of the west. Through all the wide
Quiet,
borders,
please.
his teeth were the best.
He's reading his map thing.
Is this Bardic inspiration happening?
I am. Well, if he lets me, I'm ruffling through my bag, and does he let me look for 1 minute?
Nah, that'd be a long time to look for how much copper you have.
Okay. I actually don't know, and I don't remember where it's put on the sheet either.
Okay.
It's in the upper right of the biggest square on the right. It says currency. And there's these funny, weird shapes.
Is it... I thought it was in the party shared component pouch.
How much copper? Copper is the money. So your character sheet will have some.
Yeah, you have 11 copper in the party pouch.
Oh, he's looking in the party's
Here it is.
pouch.
Got 11 copper.
You people. Give me 3
But
for
I am
each of
immense-
you. Buy your freedom and go on your way.
You wouldn't care for a little entertainment while I'm here?
3 for each of
I
you.
am-
Buy your freedom. Go on your way.
I hand him 9, and I continue singing as I'm going.
You lied to me. You told me it was you and your grandmother here, and you gave me 9 copper. Who's the other? Who are you traveling with?
Well, where's my dog? If I can find him.
You gave me 3 copper for a dog.
Yes, sir.
Roll deception again.
If he fails this, he dies.
24.
All right, critical failure on his part.
No.
Are you sure you wouldn't like me to sing you a song? All the villages like it.
I don't want to see you again. Go. Now, he gets up, walks over towards the other men, and are you leaving? Yoshka and Neno?
Well, what I've been trying to do is get about a minute of singing in around him to charm him.
Okay, I'll say the exchange has taken about a minute. Let's give it a whirl.
Okay. He so how does this
The
work?
charm person spell.
No, it's a enthralling performance.
Okay.
I can choose 4 creatures that listened to me sing for 1 minute. Each target makes a wisdom saving throw DC 14 and is charmed if it fails for 1 hour.
Okay. He was not actively listening, but let me see if the other 3 were. He was pretty resistant to listening, just to say, because that's what I was saying. Let's see. The other 3. Sorry, 1 second. All right. So what do they need to do? What is anybody who's listening? What do they need to do to resist?
Make a wisdom saving throw DC 14.
Okay. How do I find? Let me get some wisdom for them. I have them listed out here. Okay. DC 14, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. One of them is charmed. What does that do?
Tell them.
The target idolizes you. It speaks glowing of you to anyone who speaks to it, and it hinders anyone who opposes you.
Yeah.
Is that what the text is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Avoiding violence unless it was already inclined to fight on your behalf.
Okay. What do you do now that you have enticed? You don't know that you have for sure, but one of the guys who's been chopping wood is now leaning on his axe, his tool that he was scraping the wood with, and just listening to your singing. The other 2 are working, and this Iron Bell person has indicated that you should leave and is walking over towards the working guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I'm singing, this is the first time I've ever done this, so I'm looking for feedback to see if any of it is catching. And if I see any, I will just see what it does, and then if I see him only look up, I'm going to think that it didn't work. So
what I just described is what you saw, including one of them leaning on his tool, stopping working, and looking at you, and just listening to you sing.
I'll look over at the boss and shrug my shoulders like, sorry, I gotta go.
Okay, he did not seem phased.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna go with Neno.
Okay. The mid-30s gruff man who has now walked over to them says to the one who's no longer working, he kicks his tool and says, "Back to work. We don't have time for this. We've got to go." You're walking away?
Yep.
Okay. The other man says, "His singing was so good, boss. It was so good."
Over my shoulder, I say, "You could always stop me," but I don't turn around.
Okay. The young man, the mid-30s man, slaps the guy who said his singing was so good. He slaps him and he says, "Work now or I'll gut you." The young man, the man who was stopped working.
I think.
What's that?
I think that would probably get him out of it.
Okay. Young man who is working, has stopped working, says, "Yes, sir. Yes, boss." And he gets back to work. All right. I need to know from Diamondback, Gulb, and Belvari what you're going to do. Neno and Yoshka are down the road a little bit.
Okay, good.
How well could I hear the words of that? Could I just kind of hear the tones? Or
You could hear some of what the mid-30s guy was saying. He was kind of gruff and a little bit loud, not like shouting, just like... Rah, rah, rah. So you could hear more or less what he was saying, but you couldn't hear the other stuff except for a little bit of Yoshka, making some singing type noises.
Gotcha. I'm imagining there was a hairpin curve, and possibly I could loop back the way we came a little bit, and then cut the corner and be past all of that. Is that?
Yeah, that's doable.
Am I imagining that correctly?
That is doable. Roll me a stealth check if you want to try that.
Come on, baby. Do better than last time. Oh,
That's what.
Seriously.
That's where Gulb and Diamondback are.
I'm going to use inspiration to roll that again. Come on, baby. Do better than the last 2 times. There we go. 19.
There you go. Diamondback and Gulb, your existing stealth check, since you haven't really done anything, still applies.
Awesome.
What's his name? Belvari has just joined approximately where you are. He is sneaking very well to your perception.
Cool, and I'll just follow him.
Okay. Gulb, what are you going to do?
Same. Gulb's following the trail, crawling like a beetle.
Okay. You all make it past with no real issue. The dog is very well familiar with Belvari and knows how to follow his lead. You meet up with Yoshka and Neno about 20-ish minutes later. You're able to catch up to them, see them on the road. You're fairly well out of sight of whoever those Iron Bell were, who are 9 copper the richer, and or the guy is, I guess. He's probably not sharing it. And you're on your way. You want to keep traveling?
Yes. And you're... I will definitely talk to Yoshka. And I'll say, Yoshka, I believe that may have been the Iron Bell known as Griffith, although I'm not sure. It is a lucky escape if it was indeed him.
He wasn't a yak.
Well, we did overhear, Gulb and I, as we hid in the bushes near him before you showed up. He said that idiot Yat will have to wait with the orcs for an extra hour or 2, which makes me think that Yat is in the orc village.
And
he said you'll leave Yat alone.
He said something about taking everything back to caves too.
Interesting. So he may come and take Oren.
He may.
So I just rolled. Y'all can keep talking in a minute. I just rolled for your next encounter. You did not get one. It has now been about 6 hours. You had estimated, based on the squiggles, that it would be about an 8-hour trek to the fork in the road. It's actually been about 6 hours, and you find yourself at a fork in the road. According to what Garriott told you, you should not take the right or left fork, but rather go press on straight through the center of it, and in not very far off the road, you would find a pool that is spring-fed. What do you want to do?
Exactly that.
Okay.
Make it to the pool.
You get to the pool.
Yeah.
Sorry, were you going to say something, somebody?
Gulb said
I
this
think
more
we all
thing.
were.
We need to get to the pool.
Okay.
That's like we've been traveling to get to the pool quickly.
Yeah. You find yourself at this pool of water. It does seem to be something like spring-fed. There's no clear place for the water to come from. It is not active. It's not like rushing or anything like that. It's a fairly limpid pool. However, There is, it has a little bit of gurgling in it. What you can do here is you would be basically familiar with potions. They're a little uncommon because there's so many components. They have their own unique uses. You would use this. The components, or the spell, I should say, of water breathing grants water breathing to a number of people within your radius if you're casting it as a spell. It's a little bit rare to find those kind of components. A potion does the same basic thing but affects only the drinker. So there's enough for each one of you to drink it. When you do, you will know this from either Lore or Garriott telling you, you'll have water breathing for about 24 hours. You'll also be able to breathe air, but you can breathe underwater for about 24 hours. So it is not quite dusk, but it's getting late in the day. It would be reasonable for you to move into the pool, but you don't have to.
Can we take an hour to get ready, and anybody who wants to do something for an hour can just do that thing for an hour, and then we go in?
Yeah, it's okay with me. You would guess that you've got in the ballpark of 3-ish hours before dark. 3 or 4 hours.
Okay, in that case, we should probably do 2 hours, because we said that we wanted to wait to go in until at least dusk. In fact, we should maybe even take a 4-hour short rest and let it get dark.
Everybody tell me your passive perception.
15.
12.
12.
11.
Okay, and
So
I'm just going to look at Neno's.
15 is probably highest.
12. Let's say, yeah. Who was 15? Diamondback?
No, Gulb.
Gulb was 15. You will have noticed, Gulb, and maybe the others, it's prickling at your subconscious, maybe. Gulb, you will have noticed that the normal sort of ebbs and flows of this magic mist that, for the most part, nobody really pays attention to because it's just ubiquitous. It's thicker than it has been before. It's almost like knee level and below are dimmer than you're used to. You're not wading through it, but it feels darker than it should be at this time.
The white mist is settling in.
And just a quick question that my player would definitely know, all of us would know. Does the mist get thick at night? Does it change at night?
Not especially that you know. It's that there's just no light coming from the canopy at night. Okay. This is something a little different. It happens sometimes. You see it swirl. Sometimes it'll get a little thicker in some areas, and you might notice it once in a while. Or you might even look over across and see a little veil or something that's darker than you would expect, as though in some kind of shadow. And that seems to maybe be happening here, but it's a little darker than Gulb would expect for this time of day based on what time he thinks it is. The rest of you may be a little aware of it.
So Gulb turns to talk to everybody and says,
how many hours should we wait? Do we go in at dusk? Do we go in at dark? All of our magics are best at night, in darkness. But maybe the boy is already taken by the man.
Yes. Because of the Iron Bell, the sooner we can find him, I think the better. But we don't know, will he come down this path, or should we go up to the farm? Maybe he is not picked this time. Is it...
Well,
do we get the boy now, or do we wait? Maybe Yat is there. Maybe we must get him now. Maybe if we wait, we have to get the boy from Yat on the road.
Garriott's plan was for us to go straight to the farm through the pool, right?
That's true.
So we get him before Yat can.
Diamondback says, particularly to Yoshka, the difference between a warrior and an assassin is that an assassin has a plan and a target. And the warrior only has messy violence. It's good to have a plan. We should think
Yes.
carefully about what we're going to do.
Yes. What tools do we have? If we can, all I want is to get the boy. If we could free all the slaves, that would be good, but I think they will be guarded, and we cannot travel with so many people.
If
How will
we
we
take
find
more,
the boy?
We know what he will look like, and we have, what tools do we have? Belvari can become. Can you become a rat, Belvari? No one will notice a rat
No,
or
I
something
don't have any
small
rat parts.
or a bird.
I could become a pangolin.
I think Gulb adjusts a couple of the straps on his bag so that they could be used as stirrups for this halfling kid, so that he can put the kid on his backpack and the kid can hold on to the backpack.
Is there any scouting that we can do? Could Diamondback use some of this time before dusk to maybe climb some trees, see if I can get the layout of the village where we're going, see even if I can tell where the well is that we're going to pop up out of.
Do an investigation.
See if I can look at. Cool.
Hey, Aaron.
Does anybody want to help me with that?
Is that the kind of thing that I can take the help action to assist him with?
That's fine, yeah. And Aaron Joy, just to let you know, they have made it past the Iron Bell relatively without incident. They are now at the spring where the spring-fed pond to get into the town.
Awesome.
So with Gulb's help, Diamondback, rolling with advantage, is able to get a 20 on his investigation check to scout out.
And how long did you spend doing it?
I was imagining that we had a brief powwow, and then we broke to do separate things, and Diamondback and Gulb went to scout, and we met back up again at the spring entrance in like an hour.
Okay.
How does that sound to Yoshka?
Good.
Okay.
So you went and looked. There's no sign of the town. That could be because this spring might be relatively far away or something. You didn't see it.
You mean the place where the spring comes back out again?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see this pond, but you're looking for a town near here. What you do notice is that the brush and the forest gets significantly less penetrable, further into the wilds here. It looks as though it may even have been cultivated to be extremely treacherous to cross. But it's not like focused in any area. It's just this is a very inhospitable part of forest.
So I come back and I say, me and Gulb and I suppose, say it's very rough country. I wasn't even able to find the slave farm. I know not where this stream will spit us out. I'm afraid we may have to make it up as we go along.
Do we have any other good reason not to go now?
No.
We should go before the Iron Bell gets there.
Agreed.
I think
Okay.
Gulb steps over next to Belvari and nods.
Yeah.
So
Let's go. Let's roll.
a little bit out of character here, just for a sec. It's 10 o'clock on the nose. We can stop here, wait for the next episode, or if y'all want to go for another 20 minutes, I'm okay with that. No pressure for me either way. I don't know what you're looking for.
I can do 20 minutes.
Okay.
Smoke him if you got him, boys. Gold whips out his potion and.
All right. Everybody drink your potions. Aaron Joy, what you will have noted that you didn't note because you weren't here, but that's okay. I told everybody they would know. This water breathing potion affects only you. Gary told you that it would last about 24 hours. You'll be able to breathe normally in air, but also be able to breathe normally in water.
Oh, so we can take the tunnel back out. What a relief.
Well, we
have
can,
some
but
extra for the kid.
yeah.
Belvari, did you drink?
Do we have one extra for the kid?
You don't.
Okay.
Y'all want to take my potion and I won't go with you?
Can you be a water swimming animal?
No.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can turn into a fish, but I can't swim.
Can you?
That's okay. As long as you can breathe, we can drag you.
We'll put you in our pocket.
Yeah, we'll carry you.
Are there any giant flying things you could be? Because perhaps
He can't fly. He can't fly. Have a fly speed. Sir Robert, can he turn into something with gills and then we just carry him?
He can't take advantage of any special abilities that are not his abilities when he's in a form, according to the rules. So he needs to be able to breathe water if he's going. Like, he needs to use the file.
Please. Sorry. I regretted it the second I did it.
I mean, y'all
is
can
a
just go
chimpanzee-
without me.
Do you have any tree climbing animals that could escape like through the air with a 14-year-old on your back? Pint-sized 14-year-old? I don't want to leave you behind if we don't have to, but
I think
maybe.
Perhaps that the potions may be useful for the entry phase of this plan, but for the exit phase of the plan, we will have to find some other modality.
If we get into water and they know what water comes up here, they will be waiting for us. So we must go.
My suggestion is that we set many fires and burn the place to the ground.
And wouldn't that be awful if we were the cause of the fire of the dream?
But maybe
let's do it anyway.
You see Gold keeps like lifting a finger to say something and then turning. Keep going.
What if one of us stayed here? We could take their potion.
And as you're debating, I'm just giving you a sense of time passing. You think you have approximately 45 minutes till dark.
Yeah, I think Gulp
I'll
says.
stay here. Y'all go in. I'll defend this spot. You'll at least have that way out.
Gulp just said if they know about this spot, then we're going to be way slower going back through the water than them getting to this spot, and so we would just be sitting ducks. So it's actually really dangerous to try to go back.
But
okay, then I'll go with you.
We don't know if they know about it or not.
But if they do,
okay, then I'll stay.
we are all dead.
Okay, then I'll go with you.
So I want to make one thing clear.
Too dangerous.
I don't want to do any fighting if we don't have to.
You picked a bad mission. Come on.
He grabs him. What did you say?
This is a rescue mission. We only want the boy. Anything else? We don't know. Maybe it is too much risk.
If we fight, maybe we have already lost. We should do all of this as fast as possible. Violence is only slow. We need speed.
And pragmatically, we don't want to take on a village of enslavers.
No fighting, only running.
Yes. Well,
excellent.
Maybe a little bit of fighting.
He says to Diamondback.
Fighting is such a crude way to put it.
Hurting, yes.
Okay, can we have two plans? Plan one, we get the kid and nobody notices and we can swim out.
Oh.
Plan, but that would require us to save one of our swimming drink potions.
Right.
Plan two, somebody does notice and swimming out is no longer an option, and we fireball the gates and book it.
I think Gulb is strongly opposed to swimming back. I think he's just too wigged out by the 50-50 chance of everybody dying.
A team of 5 is much stronger than a team of 4. Belvari is an important member of the group with important skills.
Really is. No kidding.
And it would be foolhardy to leave him behind. I think if you have a spell that you think might destroy walls or any gates, that could allow us to exit.
I'll be back in 1 second.
So,
y'all keep talking.
I have
y'all
Expeditious
go-
Retreat, and I have Detect Magic, and I have Firebolt. Those are the ones that I see as
Firebolt.
being useful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all swim down the tunnel, stick a nose out, see what's there. If it looks like you're gonna be able to get him and swim back, do it. If not, swim back. Hand me the potion. I'll drink it. And then all 5 of us will go, and we'll probably have to fight.
That is a good idea. Perhaps
We
only
make a first sortie.
perhaps only one goes. Then there's less chance of making noises and.
I volunteer.
Who's fast and sneaky?
It is
Okay.
I.
You're just after the EXP.
I do not
Okay,
like sending you
so-
in alone.
So what'd we
promise
figure
not
out?
to attack anybody. I
I
will
would-
only look.
But what if rock falls on you underwater?
Like a little wren.
Where are we, guys?
The idea is that Diamondback will make an initial scouting sortie. He'll go underwater, pop up, sneakily look around, not talk to anybody or fight anybody or do anything. He's going to be really good. And then, if it looks like the team will be able to get the kid and sneak the kid out, then he'll come back, get the 3 members of the team and the extra potion, bring them back, and do that. If it
Take
looks
the
like we're
extra
going to have
potion
to
with you. You
blast,
might be able to pull him out.
I'll take the extra potion with me. But if it looks like we're going to have to fight and or blast and or burn our way out, he'll come back. Belvari will take the Belvari's potion. All 5 of us will go, and we'll do that instead.
Okay.
Using this simple flowchart, you can understand our party's intentions for this game of D&D.
Okay. Then
Gulb's
Diamondback.
worried that a rock's going to fall on Diamondback while he's swimming.
Diamondback. We're going to go into the DM chat then, since you're going to do something without them being there.
Diamondback puts his hand way up on Gulb's shoulder, and he says, "Don't worry. I'm very good at avoiding rocks."
And as you go,
I'm still gonna worry.
and as you go,
Don't worry, he's a snake.
as you go, I pet your throat and say, "Swim, fishy, swim, silently, silently," and give you a bardic inspiration.
Woo! Thank
Right.
you.
DM chat.
DM chat.
Okay. Let's
Hi.
see what we can see. We get you. Can I?
For some reason, you're really loud to me right now. I don't know why.
Is that better?
No, I think it's on my end.
Oh, okay. So here's what we're gonna do. You drink your potion, right?
Yeah, I already drank it,
Okay,
and I have the extra.
great. You put it in your pouch or whatever. Jump in the water. Here's what you see when you get to the bottom. The pool is pretty clear. It's not like you couldn't see from, being outside of the pool, you couldn't see to the bottom, but in there you're swimming and it's, a little bit of visibility, like water. It's not dirty. At the bottom, you can see where the rock is open and there's a flow of water coming in to the pool that you're in. And what it looks like, it's not a pipe, but it's almost like there's this rock, maybe 4 or 5 foot diameter circle with a hole kind of in the top of it, and it seems to be almost like as if it were a pipe going each direction, kind of like the cave that you were in earlier, the tunnel, right? And you can tell that water is flowing through that, and in the opening part of it here is some of it's leaking out and making this pool. The way that you would get in is by going into that flowing water. Does that make sense? And then it would carry you along. Say it again.
Does it seem to be such a strong current that I would find it difficult or impossible to get back?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good question.
I feel the current, and I'm down there, and I'd look around really thoroughly to see if that's really the only way or if there might be some other way.
Yeah, you don't see any other way. It's not a huge pool. It's, big enough, but...
Okay. I swim back up.
Okay, let's go back in.
So on yourself, and only when it says self, the only point of that is to limit it to yourself. Just because it doesn't say self doesn't mean you can't target yourself if you can target a person.
And Matt?
Yeah.
So,
Matt?
Yeah?
If you had not asked that, I was going to let you do whatever you wanted.
Diamondback pops up out of the pool, climbs up. You see the water is glistening on his bare, skinny torso.
You took your shirt off?
Oh, the shirt has been off since the possibility of water became real. And he says, I'm afraid that this journey is one way. There exists a powerful current at the bottom of the pool. The only way into the town will be to give ourselves to this current and be pushed along. I'm afraid there will be no return by this way.
Well,
and you just were able to tell that. Pardon?
I felt it myself. It's an extremely powerful current.
Listen, I am in really, really, really good shape. So if I don't think I could swim up against it, I think I can speak for all of us.
My strength is
it's like the
+0.
Gulp starts pantomiming swimming.
So I give the extra one to Belvari and say, it was good of us to consider all the possibilities, and it was good of you to be willing to give up your water-breathing potion so that the kid could come back this way. But we will have to find some other way to exit the slave farm.
Expeditious retreat!
Let's do it.
Come, the water is warm after a minute.
So...
Belvari gulps it down and jumps in.
So Diamondback shows you where it is. It's not a giant pool. It's a relatively small pool. You're not going to get lost in the bottom of it. It's not the Loch Ness. So you go to the bottom. There is a place basically where there is a tunnel that goes in two directions. As I was describing to Matt, it is kind of like a pipe, but it's not a pipe. It was just a rock, that's had water flowing through it. Basically,
I hate to interrupt you, but can I say this before we go in? Gulp gets out a rope and hands the rope to everybody else. He hands it forward to Diamondback and hands it back to everybody else.
Sure.
Smart.
And
yes.
And I do my little fish thing to everybody else, so you guys all have bardic inspiration for 1 hour.
Nice.
So what it looks like is it's approximately, if I'm going to describe it as though it were a pipe, but do remember it's not a pipe. It's just a channel the water's going through in the rock. But it's like it was a kind of a pipe with a smooth hole in the top. It's about a 5-foot diameter passageway that you would be swimming through, and the hole in the top is maybe approximately as wide, a little narrower in one spot, but you can get into it. When you feel it, a little bit of the water is escaping and making the pool. Most of the water is going down the tube. But when you put your hand in, it's actually relatively difficult to get your hand back out because it's being swept along really rapidly. Once you go in, you're in. And The others, if you're going to hold on to the rope, better move in quick succession.
Let's do
I
it.
move in quick succession.
All right.
What's your order? Just tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Diamondback, Gulb.
Oh no, Diamondback shouldn't go first.
Okay,
Diamondback
Gulb will go
wants-
first. Yeah,
Gulb should go first.
Heaviest to lightest?
Sure.
probably.
So Gulb, Yoshka,
Yoshka.
Diamondback, Belvari, Neno.
And if there are any rocks, Gulb will hit them.
Right.
He does
And-
have the armor.
Dislodge
Let's
them.
call on him.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I need you to get a D20 out, and you jump in. It's very, very dark. You can't see anything, obviously. You don't have torches. You're underwater. But you can generally feel. This water has been flowing for a long time. The walls are smooth and a little bit mossy, algae covered-ish. You're not getting hurt by that. However, every time it takes a little bit of a turn, there's a possibility that you get jarred a little bit. Go ahead and roll me, each of you, a d20. You're going to do this a couple of times.
Not an athletics, just
I'm
a
sorry,
D20.
athletics check.
7,
Okay.
Oh. 10.
11.
4. Plus what, a D6, a D8?
You
Okay.
can.
No, it said athletics check. Oh,
Yeah.
with you.
But he can use Bardic Inspiration before he finds
Oh.
out if that passes or not.
I can also touch all of y'all and give you guys. Darn it! No, I can't. Never mind.
Gulb, did you use your bardic inspiration?
I did. I used my bardic inspiration.
So it's 1d6 adding to that roll.
Oh,
It's-
okay.
it's-
Never mind. Hang
it's-
on.
It's not the same as the
Inspiration.
inspiration that the DM gives.
So Yoshka,
Right.
what did you get?
7.
Okay. Gulb, you got a what?
7.
19.
And Neno?
7.
So sorry, Josh. You're supposed to just add
1d6.
Yeah,
2
take the-
to your 4.
Take
I
the roll
did.
that you are.
I rolled the wrong thing the last time, so I just re-rolled it. I rolled the wrong
Oh.
type of die.
And Belvari, what did you get?
I missed it. 7 plus 4, 11.
Okay, and Diamondback?
10.
Okay, Neno and Yoshka, both of you hit that curve and it kind of jarred you. It was a chunk. It did not hurt you, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of out of band foreknowledge. You'll notice next time you look in your pouch that you lost a little of something.
That's dirty. That's way dirtier than hit points.
Okay.
Welcome to the nightmare of Sir Robert Burbridge's imagination, where you will suffer.
You're swimming along nicely. You're going through. Roll me a d20. Roll me an athletics check. You have another quick curve, which you can feel by the tugging on the rope once Gulb has passed it. We're gonna do one more after this. Yoshka, Gulb.
I rolled a 1.
Is it a D6 is the bardic inspiration?
Yes, it's a D6.
And Diamondback, what did you get?
12.
Okay. Wow.
I got a 6.
Every one of you failed that, I think. Except Neno.
I got a
didn't.
16.
Yeah.
But I got a 12.
Oh, okay. Diamondback also failed. It got harder. This next one was chunkier. But you a little bit of your stuff might have gotten dislodged. You might notice something, might not with a decent roll like a 12. Gulb, you got a 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
He
yeah.
loses the antlers.
And Jared, you got a 1 or you got a what? Or something really low?
5.
Okay, that's not super low. And Belvari got a 1.
Actually, I rolled the bardic inspiration.
You
I
rolled
got
the
a
what?
6.
Oh, the Bardic
Bardic
Inspiration?
inspiration.
Okay, so you didn't get a 1, you just got like a lesser thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. And what I did is, without paying attention to what it was, I just picked a random one of your components and took some out, a small amount, a chunk. Okay, one more athletics check. This is your last one.
19.
Good. Belvari, 19, 18. What happened here? You learned your lesson.
That's not
Demons
good.
Beyond is
Okay.
batching those ones.
Matt?
Diamondback used his bardic inspiration die and rolled a 16 total.
Okay, that was fine. And Gulb, what'd you get?
7.
7. Okay, sounds good. So here's what happened. Oh no, sorry, wrong one. I need to make sure I'm on the right page. There we go. So, and I'm just gonna pick that guy right there, and 7 wasn't terrible. Okay, great. So you find your way through, and you eventually start seeing a little bit of light ahead of you. You're breathing well, but you're kind of panting from this. It was a trip down this little tunnel. It's been quite a while, and it's been several minutes. And at the speed you were going, you're not sure how far you went, but you went a ways. Also, there was adrenaline, and who knows what else coursing through your veins and your bowels. So you end up on the other side of this, and what you find is there's actually you come out in not so much a well as much as kind of a, I was going to say like a brackish pond, but really it's inside this town, and it's not brackish. What it is the center of it's relatively clean water, and then it goes to just a mud pool that's like, as it gets further out, the water disperses, gets further out, and it trickles out and eventually, goes out one side. But this is where the slaves drink. Here's what you see. You look around. It's not that big. There are not that many people. You see about a dozen unfortunate souls. They are in various states of let's say health and wellness. Looking around, you see pretty much everyone who's there. There are no houses, there are no huts. There are a couple of sort of shanty-ish places where timbers have been kind of put together into an unstable shanty with maybe a little bit more timber on top or some planks or something that they found. The wall is pretty sturdy. It's tall and sturdy, a good 15 feet tall, and leaning inward with a few braces, nothing that you would readily be able to take advantage of. And on the far side from you, there is a gate that looks like it's probably about 8 feet wide with a very sturdy fence around it. When I say fence, I mean something sort of like like the stockade from a long time ago. It's very sturdy and made to keep people in, not out. That said, without much effort, you can see that there is a demi-halfling boy who's about 14. All of the people around are dressed in a single piece of garment that appears to be something like a toga or a sarong. It's one long piece. It's motley and tattered and not in any good shape for any of them. It's obvious that their heads are bald and at different stages of being regrown. They were marked as slaves this way. And also, with a cursory glance, you can tell that the earlobe, the bottom half of the ear, has been split on the left ear for each one of them. They've been thoroughly marked as this town's property. A couple of them are laying on the ground, not really moving, but you think maybe breathing. Flies are on them. They have seemed to be in despair, or at least not caring much about their lives. And the 14-year-old boy, who you pick out pretty quickly, looks like he's the best nourished of them, probably here the most recently, is sitting over on one side, just sitting. He's close-ish to the gate. You don't see any guards or anything. The extraordinarily inhospitable forest is plainly visible past the leaning in gates, and it does not look friendly for getting through. There are thorns and briars and all kinds of crazy stuff. There is something like a road coming in through the gate. The gate is not super well secured. When I say coming through the gate, I just mean it's packed earth, a few feet, 8 feet wide, under where the gate would swing. That's it. You don't see any guards or towers or buildings or anything. It's just kind of almost like a pigsty, but for people.
Seems like a circumstance for detect magic before we pop up and make ourselves known. I have
Put your veil
evidence for
on.
that.
You got your veil?
We do this quickly.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them snitches to the orcs.
Neno, are you going to use your veil?
Favor.
Does my veil work now? Do I
Yeah.
have what it takes to make that work?
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, I'm going to do that then.
Okay.
I also have components for detect magic, but I'm going to...
Yeah, this has 4 uses, and it recharges 2 uses per day at dawn.
Okay, yes.
You put your veil on, and you take a moment. They all let you take a moment. No one seems to have noticed you. You came in kind of in the back area of this squalid place. Looking around, you don't see any particular magic or anything. Although, with the veil on, you do notice what Gulb was sort of sensing before. The forest's magic, the sort of black mist, is darker and a little more treacherous than before. But you don't see anything. There's no traps or wards that you can find. It's just a little slop place for people.
This gate, it's made out of wood.
It is made out of wood, and it's lashed with vines and does not seem to be super secure.
Does it point toward the town of captors?
You have no idea. You just came out of a snaking underground tube.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where you are, which direction you're pointing.
Can we find cracks in the wall to peek through or something?
There aren't any meaningfully.
Gulp says we could ask the boy. Maybe he has found out since then. But whatever we do, we must move fast. Once the others realize we are here to save the boy, maybe some, maybe many, maybe none will try to go with us. But we must take just the boy.
Can we let everyone out? That means a bigger pool of people being chased other than us. And maybe they'll have a chance to escape also.
More likely they will be killed.
Well, they're slaves and about to be sold to the Iron Bell anyway. They don't have to run if they don't want to be killed. I mean, they are free slaves to make a choice.
A few of them
They
have
can choose
now
freely.
noticed you, but are not doing anything in particular. A couple of them are casting their eyes towards you.
Do we see the boy?
Yeah, you clearly see the boy. This is not a big pen that you're in. It's maybe 30 feet, 50 feet diameter. And he's just over there, sort of near the gate, like maybe 10, 15 feet away, 5, 10 feet away. He's just sitting against the wall, doing nothing. You clearly see him. You clearly see everything.
Let's get out of here.
No.
Allow me to propose a plan.
Please.
At the furthest point in the wall from the gate, by stealth, we set a fire. And then we see what guards or authorities might come to address that. And perhaps it will offer enough of a distraction that we may be able to sneak the boy out through the gate.
Through the gate that we need to go out of. There's only one way in and out of here. We should just
because I don't know what.
Or I open the gate.
I'm looking around and seeing that we don't know. The people might, could climb the gate, or they could, whatever. There's some sort of authority here or something possibly. And I want to find out what that is.
The walls are angled in, and you all are skeptical that you could climb these gates, these walls. They're tilted slightly inward, designed to make it just hard to scale upside down. These people are not in good health.
Is it possible to break the gates open or anything like that?
Make a perception check or investigation check.
Investigation. Okay. And that bardic inspiration only counts once, right?
Yeah.
Investigation.
We said they're just secured by vines.
13.
Yeah, Gulb, you're very confident you could just open it It doesn't seem to be locked in any way other than being lashed.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, let's end the
Something
episode
besides
here.
these walls. Something besides these walls is keeping these people here. I say we distract it, and then take the boy and go.
Hmm.
The gate is open.
It's not
Are there any
open, but it's
trees
lashed. Not
inside?
locked.
It's 10:30. Do you guys want to like kind of start interacting with this area, or just stop here, having basically just beheld it? Seems like a good stopping place.
Yeah.
Dwight, you were going to say something? Do you want to say that one last thing and we'll be done?
Are there any trees inside this area,
There are not.
Robert? Not.
Let me do one quick thing. Let me have you. I'm just gonna, just for non-game reasons, practical real world reasons, I'm just gonna tell you, go out the gate.
Well, yeah, I think we had just made the decision to get up, go get the boy. Oh, okay. And Matt wanted to set the fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only because I
Yeah,
have only because I have a real world constraint. I'm just telling you, go out the gate.
Yeah.
I'll cut
I
it
think
in post.
Gulb says,
No fire, too much extra guards, maybe. If no fire, maybe no guards. Fire, definitely guards. Risk the maybe.
Okay, I walk up to Orin and say, Orin, Garen sent us to take you home. Come on, let's go.
Gulb walks over
Ball
to
in
the
his
gate
hand.
and grabs it with two hands and tries to just lift it.
Orden is bewildered and is at this point just would obey anybody who said anything who's an adult, slaver or not, right? He doesn't know what the crud's going on, but he recognizes Garriott and the voice. He recognizes Garriott saying his name, and so he gets up and he follows you. Gulb, you don't put a whole lot of effort in, but you swing this gate open, and as you do, there's just a path in front of you with no seeming guards. What you do notice, all of you, is the brambles and briars and everything are really thick and impenetrable. It actually has shades of your previous enclosure from the Dryad some time ago. It's not a wall of thorns, but it's really impenetrable here. Once you go on the path, that's just where you are. Up ahead, as you look down the path, not very far, you hear some surprisingly poorly played music. Like, it's like really bad. Like gratingly bad. And just up ahead, maybe about, you can see down the path a little bit, maybe 80 feet or maybe probably closer to 150, 200 feet. You can see someone dressed like these slaves in front of a small hut. It's not a small hut. Some people could fit in there. But he appears to be sitting outside the front of the hut playing an instrument extremely badly, a little pipe.
As if he just saw some brontosauruses for the first time.
I couldn't understand you, I'm sorry.
As if he just saw some brontosauruses for the first time.
Maybe. He seems to notice you but doesn't do anything about it. He just is playing his pipe very poorly.
Let's go.
Do we circle around the back? Try to find the other
There's
way
no
into the forest?
circling around. There's
Don't
a
think we
door
can.
and there's thorns.
Okay.
He goes over to the boy and he does like a quick medicine check to see what speed he thinks this boy can run at. That's a 12. Just to assess the kid and figure out, do I think this kid can move at full speed? Uh-oh, you're muted.
You're muted,
Sir Robert.
Sorry about that. Yeah, he seems fine. You know from Gary, he's only been gone a short while. He's kind of traumatized, because of the sort of horribleness of it, but he's not damaged physically. He's okay, and he's following you because Yoshka said Gary had said.
Okay. Gulb looks at the kid, gets down on one knee, and kind of swings his pack over to the side, and he points at the stirrups, and he says,
If things get bad or you need to, you get on. Feet, hold.
He nods at you.
Gulb stands up and gets out his maul and twists it in his grip and looks at the other guys.
All right. Do you want to take a few steps down that road?
I suppose so. I guess
right.
we're walking.
And I'm not taking off that veil. I'm just looking through it
Sure.
at everything.
You've got it for a while. It lasts for a good while. So it only takes you about 5 minutes, 3-4 minutes to get to this little shack thing. It's big enough for a dozen people, maybe 24 people to be inside. There is a slave wearing the same toga thing. It's in better condition. Ear is split, head is shaved, a little bit of his hair has grown back. And he's tied waist and foot in a way that you recognize to a large rock. Sorry, not to a large rock. He's tied waist and foot, and the rope that he's tied with is sturdy and goes back into the hut. He clearly is tied to the hut and is not able to leave. You get closer to this character. He stops playing his abysmal flute playing, which is super grating. And before you can say anything, he says,
Hey, what are you guys doing over here? Who are you?
Oh, we've come to take Orin home.
But not you, little boy. I'm sorry. Keep going.
It's fine. I don't really mind that much. My name's Splint, and he's gonna put the flute aside and just put out his hand to whichever one of you's closest.
I think Gulb was up front, so I think Gulb reaches down and shakes the kid's hand.
Okay, so he shakes his hand and then kind of like sort of wipes it a little bit and says, so you're rescuing him? It's gonna be a while since the patrol just left, so you can just like take a while. We have some food in here if you want to come in.
So he invites you in to rest a minute, and he seems to be a little peculiar from having been tied here. He's about a 20-year-old young man who has been here who knows how long. He's not being treated the same as the other slaves, but he is clearly a slave. He walks in as though he's introducing you, showing you around his little hut, and offers you something to drink and something to eat.
We are not going in. Surely not. We have who we wanted, and we are on a time constraint, and we got to get back before full dark. We're going to thank him for his hospitality and say, no, we have plenty of food. Thank you very much. If the authorities come, you never saw us.
Now,
no, we can't.
Boy, in those patrols.
Gulb reaches down for the rope and just yanks as hard as he can to try to just pull whatever is anchoring the rope free.
it doesn't pull free, but Orin sort of... I'm sorry, not Orin. Splint sort of laughs about it a little bit and pulls you in. Not pulls you in, but walks in further and says, and comes back out with a jug and offers you each a beer or something of your choice. From your perception, he appears to be kept here for this purpose.
Okay. I'm working on destroying the rope.
Okay. This is where we'll stop. We will pick up next time. You have just met Splint. I was trying to get that in for... Yeah, I was trying to get that in for one important reason. I'll cut this in post, but unfortunately, Jacob has camp next week. But
so it has to be tonight. Gotcha.
It had to be tonight so that you didn't pass the opportunity. So sorry for the rush of that.
That's okay. That's okay. Gulb was already saying no fire, no fire.
So in post, I'll make it really smooth like it was all your idea. Jacob actually will. I'm paying Jacob to edit the episodes now because he wanted to.
Awesome.
Nice. Jacob, you the man.
Nice.
We're in good hands.
So everybody, thanks for watching. This has been the Dying of the Light, Season 3 of the Starfall Collective. We will pick up with the next episode with a new party member who will be played remotely by me, I guess. Or we might take a break or do a one-shot next week. We could also do something like that. I didn't think of that till just a second. And we will pick up with Splint and U5 trying to figure out how in the world to get Orden out of this town. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Go your own way, stones and shadows bite, willows whisper of darkness deep and wide. In the forest there is no place